Hello everybody! I thought I'd do a quick PC port video on NieR Automata that came out today, and I've got some good news and I've got bad news. I'm going to start with the good news, and the most important thing first, that NieR as a game is absolutely fantastic, and that hasn't changed from its PS4 counterpart at all. The gameplay, the mechanics, the story, the music, all of it are utterly wonderful, and personally, one of my favourite games that I've ever played. It really is an incredible, like, I hate to chuck the words around, but it is a masterpiece of a game. I'm really, really impressed with it. With that out of the way, some other decent features of this: it's sharper than the PS4 version. That's probably due to the increased resolution. That comes with a bit of a caveat though, I'll go over that in a second. And the load times are pretty short, even on a mechanical hard drive that I've got in here for this, which is nice. I imagine if you stick on an SSD it should also be quite a bit quicker. Also, the controls are great as well. I mean, I just chucked an Xbox controller in here, the standard USB one. Picked it up immediately with no problems. It controls in the same button layout as the PS4 one did, in equivalent places. The mouse and keyboard controls also work fine. Instantly, I've swapped here. It controls like you'd imagine, spacebar being jump, R does a dodge, right click and stuff do the weapon attacks, and shift does shooting. It handles it straight away, and the button prompts are in fact correct. As you can see here, NieR has an E above his head, and if I move the controller, he has a B above his head. Yay! It actually picks it up properly, which is lovely. And overall, those sort of basic functions of the port are fine. The graphical options are all there, as you'd imagine from a basic port. You won't find any crazy Witcher 3 style options here, but you'll find the basic stuff. Resolution, graphic textures, AO, AA, AF, the sort of standard stuff you'd find there. Not massively surprising, but nothing terribly. It's not exactly like graphics on or off you see in some PC ports. Those are the good things. The bad things, then, let's demonstrate them more than anything. You can see a bit here, but I want to sort of really emphasize how poor some of these things are. Now, depending on your preferences, this may or may not bother you at all. This may or may not ruin your enjoyment of the game at all. It might be me being slightly picky. All of these things are possible. Please pay attention to the grass and the trees in the background as I move forward. As you can see, things just fade in quite badly. This does happen on the PS4, but not to quite that extent or that extreme. Whether it hides it better, I don't know, but I certainly didn't notice it being that poor as I was playing. Unfortunately, it actually gets worse, because if this is with the setting off. If I show you, go to the settings menu, go to screen, I go to the AO, which I'm now going to turn on, which is something you'd like to do normally, which is, you know, perfectly reasonable. And if we look at the texture pop in again, you can see that it is in fact harsher and a bit worse, which is interesting. I'm guessing it's a bug. It's the only thing that makes sense that it's a bug, because the texture pop in is absolutely appalling. It really is poor, and it definitely wasn't that bad on the PS4. Especially like that. Like, as you can see the building in the background, it will slowly, but surely, decide to fade itself, texture-wise, out of existence. Now it's showing me up a little bit. Oh, there we go. There we go. Which is pretty extreme. Lots of different things in the background will pop in. The shadows, the trees, the leaves. This is something you don't see, unfortunately, at the very start of the game, which is why this is about 2 hours in. I've played quite a bit to sort of see how this port handles itself. If this was the only problem, I would say bollocks to it and just play it. You know, like, pop-in is annoying, but it doesn't massively reduce, like, overall enjoyment. For me, personally, at the very least. It's just something that I'd notice and be like, that's kind of stupid, but that can be fixed with a bug. What I did find slightly more irritating is... Oh, dear, I've actually angered the locals. I better deal with that now. What I did find slightly more irritating, however, was in certain cutscenes, because I've actually gone further and tested it further. I've gone another half an hour into the game from this save to test, but some of the cutscenes run really, really badly. I don't know why. They're recorded video, just like the PS4 version, so they're running at a lower resolution, like 900p and 30 FPS, which is pretty standard for a port like this, really. They're just recorded. Problem is, some of them seem to be recorded at half that, like at 15 or something. I don't know what's happened. There's a particular cutscene in the desert area, which I don't want to say what happens, and I'm not showing you for a very particular reason, because it's hugely spoilery, but it runs at like 15 FPS. I don't know what happened. It's very juddery. Though the FPS counter says it ran at 30, it clearly didn't. Something's not right there. Again, hopefully a bug? That's just not normal. And then I tried, and I thought, okay, that's really crap. So I went a bit further into the game, another 20 minutes, 30 minutes something, and I checked the next cutscene, the next major one, and that was fine. That ran at the 30 FPS with 900p without any problems. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. Some of them seem to be really jarry, and some of them aren't, which is kind of upsetting, actually. And I'm going to get to the last major point of the big port balk, which is kind of irritating me. I'm currently running this game in windowed mode, in borderless windowed mode. Not that the game comes with borderless windowed mode, I might add. It's mainly that I had to use an external program to achieve that, which is actually kind of irritating. But there you go. Oh, there you go. Nice panty shot for you. I hope you all enjoyed that. So yeah, if you don't run the game in borderless windowed mode, or window mode in general, it seems to get stuck at an internal resolution of like 900p. Which doesn't make any sense. You can change the resolution to whatever you want, even up to 4K, and it still seems to get stuck. The second you stick it into borderless windowed mode, using this external program, or just windowed mode, it runs fine. Weird. It's so strange. Again, it's got to be a bug. But as it stands currently, those are two major bugs. Like, well, three major bugs, I suppose. You got glitchy sort of videos. You've got pretty furious popping. That I gotta hope is a bug, because that's pretty heinous. And you've got weird resolution issues. Again, the gameplay itself handles fine. As you can see, like, it's super fun, it's super fluid. I've got no control issues, no delay, no response time issues. Fantastic. No crazy tearing, nothing like that. Nothing. Which is fine. It's just the other small things seem to be a bit of a problem, which is really bizarre. And I don't quite get what's going on there. Strange. Alright, I've probably bored you all silly with that, so sorry. I'm just going to give you a quick loop of the city area. Sort of mild spoilers if you're really trying to stay in the dark here, but you can sort of see the sort of pop in as I'm running through. Is again very strange. It doesn't massively gimp your enjoyment of the game, truthfully. The game is, I think that personally the game is strong enough to hold up on its own, even with this sort of reasonably insane levels of detail issues, but it could really do without that. Like, if the PS4 version isn't this extreme, and it's really not, I don't see why this one should be. Oops, sorry 2B, just realised I'm showing off your panties to the world there. Okay, the camera's naturally going there, never mind, sorry, whatever. Right, I'm just going to climb up here, and again, as you can see, the game is quite the looker. It's just not looking quite correct. Again, let's move towards something and get a good bird's eye view of things going horribly poppy. Pop, 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 pop. Weird. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with that. This is my first impressions of the port. Don't let it hold you against the game, because the game really is an incredible, incredible achievement. It's a brilliant game. This port needs work. It does. And it's your hard-earned money. Please consider that before you buy it. If this kind of thing bothers you, like even just me spinning the camera here, if this kind of thing bothers you, I really insist you have a long look at either my video again or have a look at someone else's video. Don't be fooled by the fact that the game runs and looks really fine in the initial tutorial area. It does get drastically worse, as you can see, which is why I've done this video here. And again, those cutscenes I didn't want to show you, and I know that sounds ludicrous, but it is quite spoilery, and I don't want to ruin the actual surprises and stuff for you. Again, having some of those not run to their potential is kind of a bit of an enjoyment crapper.
Most of the central area, big plants too.
Report. Records show that
anyway, I shall leave you with that. I'm going to self-destruct. Thanks for watching. Ow.
Wonder if there are any huge boars and such too.